President Biden flew straight to Vietnam from the G20. He denied that the US is trying to curtail China's international influence after signing off a new strategic partnership with Hanoi. Nearly half a century after the US withdrew its troops at the end of the Vietnam War, President Biden hailed closer ties between the two countries, saying Vietnam and US relations have entered a new stage. While our Asia-Pacific correspondent Laura Bicker has more on what the agreement means, she reports from Hanoi.
Well, first let's deal with the agreement, the comprehensive strategic partnership. Now that will elevate the United States to Hanoi's highest level of diplomatic ties. It puts them on the same level as both China and Russia. What it really does is allow them to do more business. It kind of cuts a few bits of red tape. And certainly that's one of the things that we're going to be seeing here today from many meetings that President Biden is having with Vietnamese leaders. We're going to see a lot of talk about semiconductors being manufactured here in Vietnam. And many companies from the United States, including Intel, are here to look at what is in fact a manufacturing dynamo of a country in the hope that they can move some of their production here. And although President Biden said in his press conference that it was not about containing China, certainly for businesses from the United States, it is about diversifying away from Beijing. But the latest this morning here from Vietnam is that both Vietnam and the United States have signed a pact which will say has warned against the threat or use of force in the disputed South China Sea. Now that comes just a week after there have been tensions between China and Vietnam over disputed claims in the South China Sea. What seems to have happened, according to state media reports here in Vietnam, is that a Chinese Coast Guard vessel used a water cannon against a Vietnamese fishing vessel. This comes after years of tension. Vietnam is also concerned about the construction work going on in many of the small islands in the South China Sea by Beijing. That's quite a strong statement by the United States and Vietnam together. And although President Biden said in his press conference it's not about isolating China, it's not about containing China, and I put it to him that Beijing calls this a Cold War mentality, and he said that he denied that that was the case. So apart from that, this is the pact that they signed this morning. So I do think that there will be some reaction from Beijing on this.
That was Laura Bicker in Hanoi.